Adam, what else happened in Carolina athletics land this past weekend?
Really fun game to watch over at Carmichael on Sunday. The outcome was not fun. Florida State came in, beat the Tar Heels 86-84. Florida State is good. They were not ranked somehow, but I have decided that they are good. They've got the number 2 offense in the country and got a game winner with just seconds remaining to get that 2-point win. 5 Tar Heels in double figures, including former pod guest Maria Gokdang with a season-high 21. Alyssa Usby had another double-double, 14 points, 11 rebounds. Tar Heels with a big one on Thursday. They go to number 22, Cal. So you've got to make the trip west and play a very good team. Carolina currently 18-4 overall, 6-3 in the league. Those 3 losses are to really good teams, but because the ACC is so good, Carolina's currently in 7th.
Wow, ACC women's basketball just loaded with good teams.
And Cal's one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Cal's good, Florida State's good, Georgia Tech's good, Duke's good, NC State's good, Louisville's good, Carolina's good.
Notre Dame might be the best team in the country.
Yeah, one of the best teams in the country. So just a lot of quality teams in the ACC. Man, Tar Heels had the lead by 5 with a couple minutes left and had a couple of good possessions and just missed some looks that I think more often than not they would make, and that felt big. That they couldn't quite get that lead up to like 7 or 9, which they had a chance to do, and just couldn't quite do it. So really competitive game back and forth, and just on both teams made plays down the stretch. I mean, Carolina was up 1, and Florida State hit a really deep 3. A player for them, I think she made 6 threes in the game. And then Tar Heels scored on the other side. Renee Kelly hit a basket with about 7 seconds left. And remember, key difference between women's basketball and men's basketball is you advance the ball to half court if you take a timeout in the final couple minutes. And so both teams used that to their advantage. So FSU got to inbound in its front court and eventually scored.
How do we feel about advancing the ball?
I don't like it.
I don't either.
I mean, I know the NBA does it. I know a lot of people do like it. I just think it gives I think it's a big advantage to the offense, obviously. But why would you – it feels a little gimmicky to me. You don't do that any other time. Why would you just start doing it in the final minutes just to make things more exciting? Like every other time when the team makes a basket, you inbound on the baseline. Why should it be any different just because of some arbitrary moment on the clock?
And if you want to advance the ball, save your timeouts, throw it to half court, call timeout, then you have advanced the ball, the traditional way of doing it.
Yeah, Courtney Bankart would obviously know this better than me. I would think you would really hold on to your timeouts in women's basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Because being able to advance it in the instance of a close game is incredibly valuable.
You can't call that, they're on a 6-0 run, let's try to get everybody to chill out a little bit, timeout, because they're so important at the end.
Yeah.
And they were in this game. Carolina women's tennis, good weekend. Beat Alabama 4-1 on Friday, then swept Wisconsin 4-0 on Sunday. That puts them into the ITA Indoor Team Championships. Good win for Reese Brantmeyer, who, as you know, is coming back from injury. She beat the number 3 player in the country in that Wisconsin match. Tar Heels right now ranked number 9 nationally. They've got a weekend that's not ITA. They played Georgia, who's really good. I think it's Georgia. And then they go to the ITAs, which are either at Illinois or Northwestern, which are not really close to each other. But they haven't set which teams are playing at which site as of the time that we're talking. So that's a little perplexing.
Adam, I have to tell you, there was a picture on GoHeels.com of the women's tennis team. They were holding up like little tickets or something that said, hey, we'd earned our ticket to the indoor championship round. I was like, who are these people? I knew Carson, of course. And I saw Reese Brantmeyer, who we have not had on the pod.
But we need to.
But I recognized her.
Yep.
And the rest of the team, I was like, I don't know who these young women are. We've got to learn about them. It's just a whole new team, but still successful.
The Tar Heels have 2 players who just enrolled in January and are currently playing top 6 in singles and getting wins.
Yeah, come on in and start playing.
That's pretty impressive. Gymnastics. We talked about them a little bit. Of course, you heard from JoJo. Great meet for Lali Dekanoidze. Career high 9.975.
Well, there was some talk of a 10.
One judge gave
Yeah,
her a 10.
well, so when you get a 9.975, that means one judge gave you a 10 and the other one gave you a 9.95. And so there must have one judge found a very minor deduction.
One judge was from the communist bloc and the other one was not. And that's how you get a 9.975. Look, I don't know gymnastics like Jones does. I thought that was a great routine on the bars.
Tar Heels, the reason they didn't win this meet was they had a very average performance on beam. The rest of their performances were solid to very, very good. Like they had a season high on vault. They were very good on bars. And they didn't have a fall on beam, but it was just a little bit of a sloppy rotation. Like there were some wobbles and some balance checks and things like that just kind of add up on the beam. The beam is tough, Adam. And so, man, again, you don't want to lose a dual meet, especially to state.
That's for sure.
But again, Carolina has scored better every meet so far this year. I think they've got they're deeper than they have been, in my opinion. Obviously, Coach Durrani would know this better than me, but just from watching, I think they've got a little more depth in their lineup. They've brought in some good young gymnasts. Kaya Forbes has really continued to improve. She had a really nice performance, I think, on floor. I enjoyed the meet. I wish they'd have won, but I think it was a positive night for them.
That'll do it for Bart Connor.
Yeah, that's right.
JoJo she won the vault.
Yeah.
She had a career high 9.875. You have already heard from her. Julia Noer won the all-around. Tar Heels now headed for Stanford, who's number 15 in the country. That's on Friday.
Remember, now this is kind of crazy. I mean, ACC gymnastics did not even exist 2 years ago. Carolina was still competing in the Eagle, the East Atlantic Gymnastics League, including our friends from George Washington are in the Eagle, or were back then. I don't know if the Eagle still exists. Eagle aside, the ACC now is up to 6 teams, and if I'm not mistaken, all 6 of them are ranked in the top 25. I mean, this Carolina State matchup was like State was 22 and Carolina was 23, I think. Pitt, Clemson are right in that 20 to 25 range as well. Stanford, you said, was 15, and Cal's like 3 or 4. They're really, really good. And so I think, just having the ACC form, you get better coverage, which makes a difference. I think in this sport, adding Cal and Stanford has really upped the overall quality of the league.
Jim Phillips nods knowingly.
Yeah. Like, see, guys?
Got exactly what we wanted.
That's what I was doing. So I just think and we've talked about this before. Very similar to volleyball. It's a popular sport that moves fast. You know the meet's going to be about 2 hours, somewhere in that 90 minutes to 2 hours. The people are doing things that are hard to do, like normal people can't. Like, you don't have the 45-year-old dads in the crowd going, I could do that. Like, no, you couldn't. And so it is a sport that is growing, in my opinion.
How do you know what I'm saying at the meet?
Yeah, that's right. Adam's over there going, well, I saw a little bit of a leg break on that giant on the bars, but okay.
Tar Heels with a giant performance in track and field. Thomas Kitchell, now number 2 in the nation in shot put.
Really?
And in UNC history. He threw 19.69 meters at the Hokie Invitational. Other good performances from Paul Signorelli. He is now 4th all-time at Carolina in the pole vault. And Delia Martins, 8th all-time at Carolina in the 400 meters.
Shot put pole vault.
Fencing just continues to win.
Quick question. Is fencing good?
They've been good, as we know, from our friend Matt Jednak.
Yeah.
They got 3 really good wins at the Penn State Invitational. The men and women both beat Wagner, Haverford, and Penn State. Look, you may not know much about Wagner and Haverford, but you know Penn State is number 5 in the country in men's and number
anymore.
13 in women's.
Not anymore.
Prior to encountering the Tar Heels when they got taken down a couple pegs.
All right.
And then men's tennis, tough weekend. Lost to Memphis on Friday, then came back to beat Charlotte 4-2 in the consolation match on Saturday. They're 2-1 this season. They'll host Illinois Saturday at 3:30.